Did you expect that kind of business to be done by this? Did you know that this was going to be the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, at the time, Jimmy, you're standing outside the ring. Jimmy, you said something to him. Do you remember what you said?
Something in Fijian he taught me. Something,
Oh, really?
yeah, something filthy about his mother or something like that, yeah.
Now he dives over the top.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain clearing the top rope.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see that back then. I mean, nowadays they're taking bumps from
Yeah, that was an old Mexican, the old Mexican stuff there.
He's he was really kind of a impressive physical specimen.
Oh yeah, he would gain 25 pounds. He would grow 25 pounds in the ring. I would watch him come in flat and tired, and 5 minutes later, he'd come look about 225. 5 minutes later, he'd be about 245, pumped and buffed and looking huge. He's always, I don't know how he did it. I mean, I was in the gym all the time. It was always Backlund. A lot of other, we spent, hours and hours training and stuff. But he never didn't seem to really, he really put. I know he did it one time back in Hawaii when he was Mr. Hawaii, Mr. Hawaiian Islands and stuff in the bodybuilding. But he was, he'd do that little rubber luthers, the little rubber pulley that luthers had. That was it. And he just.
You're kidding? Wow.
That was it. I mean, he'd go to the gym and he wasn't killing himself in there. I'll tell you that. Not like everybody else. And he just looked the way he did. I mean, he looked fantastic.
It's the Fijian water.
I guess. Yeah, he was. But that wasn't unique to the time, though. But I was doing with Slaughter and Backlund was doing it. Me and Backlund were doing it. Whoever was with Backlund, Morales. That was you're talking bridging the TV thing.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing those house shows on a pretty consistent. Hartford, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, you name it. Up and down the town. It wasn't unique. I mean, the figures. I had no idea. Of the figures and the particular records and stuff that you had. But it wasn't really unique to have the Garden sold out or have the Spectrum sold out or have Hartford sold out. Or we were capacity audiences everywhere.
Now, does he have a lot of outside people now who are coming in to do this magazine, or is this being done by people in the day-to-day that
Already in his, he already had the network already for him. Jeff Taylor?
Steve Taylor.
Steve Taylor, yeah. Okay. He was instrumental in the photography and a lot of that stuff.
Were you guys, was it part of your obligation that you'd now have to, in addition to doing the TV and the stand-up interviews all morning, that you'd now be doing some interviews for magazines or photo shoots or?
It was everything. I mean, it was nonstop. I had a couple of days off. I had to fly from New Jersey to L.A. and we did the Fuji Goes to Hollywood things. It was never. You're always obligated one way or another. At that time, they were getting close to. I don't know if it was then, but it was getting close to where they were going a Holiday Inn and renting a conference room and then throwing cameras in there, having a truck outside, and you'd go in and do 4 or 5 hours worth of work over there. When you get to L.A. or Oklahoma City or Newark or wherever you happen to be.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was part. And on your, by the way, 9 o'clock at Howard Johnson for interviews, aside from being there,
So it wasn't only just on the TV days now. Now you're
oh yeah, you're wherever you show up in a town in L.A. or Sacramento, we got go to the Howard or go to the Ramada Inn, the conference room down there, the Twilight Room, whatever they name them and stuff, and with Gene Okerlund and all those guys. They'd fly him and Howard Finkel and the whole office crew in, whole camera crew in, and you continue there. Some of our shows were coming. There's a lot of the garden shows were going on in the USA. And Snook and I, that cage match was on USA live.
Oh, that's true. Right, they were
Yeah,
they were putting house shows on there, weren't they?
At that time, yeah, at that time was the highest rating cable network had gotten. I don't know what the point was or what the number was, but it was it was something that caught on. So nationally, and it was nationally for a cable, for a USA channel that wasn't available to so many homes. They did I think they did a high number. I don't remember what it is. Right now it's 25 years ago,
But I mean, in the locker room at the time, now, this is a big thing with a national reach like that. You guys are about to become like stars, like movie stars, known countrywide wherever you go. Is that buzz starting to happen with the guys, or is the grind so much that it's really just another day of work?
just another day.
Yeah.
Just another day at the office, and I remember Dusty came in one time. We were in Hartford, and like we've been, I saw Philly last night. I said, where are we tomorrow? And I had a main event with Backlund or something in the Garden. I said, where are we going tomorrow night? It's close to home. I said, no, it's close to home. Because we were living in Connecticut at the time before I moved down here. I said, what's that? And Dusty'd come up for like Philly, Hartford, and the Garden or something. Three gigantic paydays, and he's looking at me, what the hell are you talking about? We're going to Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. Better yet, get a good meal before, Japanese food before, and a big dinner afterwards.
Stay at the 48th and 8th.
Ramada. Get drunk at the Savoy.
So that was an interesting place from what I hear, a little before my time. The tag matches were scheduled to go across the territory later on between you and Jimmy, but Rogers had left the promotion. Arnold Skolin replaces him.
Yeah.
Do you remember working in the ring with Buddy?
Yeah.
That one time?
Yeah.
That must have been.
Yeah.
He was over 60.
Yeah, it was an honor to be with the great BR.
Yeah.
He was like Flair. He was the Flair of his day.
Yes.
He was, and I think Ric Flair modeled himself out of the Nature Boy. Ric Flair modeled himself after Buddy Rogers. The big diamond rings and the limousines and the big money and stuff. That was he was the Flair. I was in between eras, so I didn't, but everything had come down to me, being with Curtis and Mark Lewin and spending time with those guys and everything else. The great BR. It's red brings green, and all the red makes green, and all those things and stuff, all those antiquated things. But yeah, it was, and then Skolin fell into the program.
But going back to Buddy for a minute, I think he leaves the territory after that one match. He doesn't get to work the other shows that are playing.
I forget what happened there.
But you could have worked his last match ever if he didn't. I don't know if he ever wrestled again.
I don't think he did.
After that, so you could have been in the ring with him for his last match. Something for the memoirs if you write them.
He and I were quite close. We were quite close from Florida, where I'd spent. He was in the office when I shaved my head and became Magnificent Muraco.
Right.
With him and Eddie Graham, put that idea together, and then up until I was at Larry Sharp's house when I first came into the New York territory. Went down to Atlantic City, and he was working at the Playboy Club, and he took us around, but I was quite friendly with Buddy. I knew Buddy well. A lot of respect for him, a lot of admiration.
So now this is AWA territory. California. So you're really eating up all the. Are you now feeling, though, as you go across the country, that the pendulum is swinging in your favor, and ultimately you're gonna
Oh yeah.
win out over all these other
We had,
smaller?
just a tremendous amount of talent, um, just to put into the ring, and then the network Vince had assembled outside with the merchandising, the TV, and the TV people, and the TV trucks, and the commercialization, and the sponsors, and I think we're going to starting with the cartoons and all that other stuff. Was coming on then. We're in LA. We're actually in LA doing cartoons and doing this, and that's another time you fly. You got a day off. Okay, I want you to fly to LA
And voice the cartoons.
yeah, or just paddle on a surfboard in dry land. Somebody throw a bucket of water in. That's it. You can go home now. Oh, great! I just flew across country.
Oh, shooting the vignettes that they would do in between the cartoons.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I see. Right.
Doing those, doing all those spots. I don't know if that was '83 or not, but this was,
No, that was
this was,
later. 84, I think, probably.
Yeah.
Or 85. But speaking specifically of the AWA and their position in Northern California, did Vince make it known his attitudes toward Vern at the time?
No. Never a concern. They were always a minor league. They were all, they're a minor league organization compared to. Vince was spending money. You make money, you spend money. And Vince was spending money. He was sending crews here, crews there, taping this, filming that, doing this. Inserting this, doing that. So it wasn't. Everybody else was minor league. There was really no concern about competition.
Right.
It was before the TV, WCW and that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously.
Sure.
So, but it was. We were just rolling. It was just a big machine, rolling through everything. There was no. I was Kurt Hennig. I think had gone back because he'd started in 80 or 81 when I was first in New York.
Yes.
He'd come out there and he'd gone back. Great kid, great guy. Lived up him and his wife and his oldest son Joe was just born, and he was around there, but he was the star for Vern at the time. So if you catch AWA show, you'd be you'd be stoked to say, hey, all right, Kurt's getting a break over here.
Yeah.
Kurt's all right, Kurt's a champion or something else. But it never affected us.
Right.
It never it never had anything to do. Never meant anything to us. Well, Vince Senior was still the front there. That's how they were able to get in so smoothly.
Okay.
Because Vince Senior was a liaison with Jim Barnett and
right.
and Ted Turner, and Vince Jr. hadn't made it, hadn't had the opportunity to make waves. Yeah, not that he didn't want to, because he was always a shit disturber, but Senior was a buffer for that, and Senior was. I remember Senior coming to me one time and says, "Oh, we've got to go into Columbus, Ohio. They're taking because Columbus is only 90 miles." 100 miles from Pittsburgh, so they considered that he considered an encroachment, or somebody had talked to him and convinced him into seeing that as an encroachment on his area. We're actually, the old man never went out, So he would send Andre out. He would send guys out. I remember Backlund I wrestled Backlund in Tampa, 79 at the Tampa Stadium outdoors. When it was Dusty and I think Harley was a champion. If not Harley, Terry, but either Dusty and Harley and me and Bob.
Down for an Eddie Graham card.
Yeah. We ran outdoors at Tampa Stadium. We did 20-something thousand. So that was kind of, but like I said, the Senior and Barnett, as you can see later, Barnett worked his way into the office in New York, there in Connecticut.
Right. Well liked in the company, I take it he was.
Yeah, well, I admired. He's the godfather of my daughter.
You're kidding?
No.
Huh.
No, he was a great guy. When he was the consummate manager. He was. Other guys would want, and rightfully so. Lou had been around, and Lou with his vodka glasses and stuff like that, and Freddie had his own thing. But Ernie was for his, was for you. If anything he would boom the interview. Everything would make sure the spotlight was shining on you, and you alone. He would, Well, then the other guys, I didn't say they would do it, consciously, but Ernie would make a conscious. Ernie was conscious about it, that he was going to make you the focal point of that interview or that period of time. That's how concise he was as a manager in business and everything else. And other guys were out there having a good time, and as we all were.
Yeah.
And maybe not as conscious as Ernie was,
Huh.
as to the nature of the business.
He also, from what I remember, did a lot of the office work for Senior.
Yeah,
right? He was
Fort
heavily
Lauderdale,
involved in
yeah.
the office.
He was-
Right, he was in Florida.
He lived in Lauderdale, where Vince had his winter home, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, so he did. He was Vince Senior's liaison, to get through.
And it probably wasn't. You were with Lou at this time, though, right? Because you were with Wizard.
Yeah, Wizard was my first manager
Okay.
when I first came in.
81, right?
Then I went out. Then when I came back, they put me with Lou.
Okay.
Why I don't know, but I guess they saw Snooker and they'd had, they knew plans.
Fun traveling with Lou?
Lou never traveled. Lou didn't travel. Lou made some of the big shows,
Right.
but
Okay.
he wasn't on the road.
Oh.
Not with us.
It's probably still cited as that federation's most famous cage match, wouldn't you say?
Turning point. Yeah, it was a turning point. Well, everything kind of fell together then. It was all the pieces that had come together. The USA Network and the advertising and this. It was pre Cyndi Lauper and stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as it was a pre pay-per-view match, and it was shown on ABC, and all the pieces it just kind of seemed to fall together, right?
We're taking the splash from the top of the cage and that whole thing. I mean, that's kind of an indication of things to come. It really was, in some ways, a doorway to the future of the
Extreme,
business.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another guy, another great talent.
Mhm.
He was another guy, hard worker, trained in the gym, worked in the ring, good on the mic. Another guy to put asses in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was business was so good. There wasn't, I don't know, on my part, and most of the guys I was hanging around with at the time, whoever it happened to be, on a chronological, I'm not too sure. There wasn't a lot of animosity.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of backstabbing. Wasn't a lot of going to the office and this guy was drunk last night over here. Everything was pretty cool. Everybody was happy to just happy to be on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Happy moving along.
So this is one of those rare heel versus heel match where the fans kind of, well, I guess they helped them pick a side by putting Lou with Sharp. What do you remember about Iron Mike?
He is nuts. He's just. I was in Japan with him one time, and he was going nuts because he couldn't find wax dental floss or the McDonald's.
He was obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, it was his shoes. He would on his feet over and over again with socks and back and forth,
Cleaning.
and the fact of the cleaning and he would be. Mike was typically first, second match guy,
Right.
and I would be, unfortunately, lots of times stuck on the last match, and I'd be dressed and showered and changed and, got my beer and everything else, and he'd still be in the shower, washing and cleaning. There was a couple times he flooded a couple of buildings. I'm not. This is the truth. Huh?
I read something that he
No, I don't think so.
He flooded.
Yeah, he was in the shower so long, that the water and he was there. I mean, it wasn't unique. I mean, everybody'd be the building would be empty. I think they turned the dogs loose on him one time in Boston Gardens. They didn't know he was in the shower so goddamn long. He got out by the time the Dobermans were running around the building, and yeah, he didn't have to call. Yeah, everybody was gone. Everybody was out. And he'd been on first, second, third match, whatever it was, long Boston Garden show, and he's in the shower, and he'd take deodorant, and go like that, take a towel and wipe it off, and take the deodorant, put the deodorant on, take the towel and wipe it off. I don't know how many times he would do that, and he probably had a significant amount of times that he did that.
Well, you'd need it.
But yeah, but he just, he'd probably go through a thing of deodorant in a week. He just, and then I was in Japan with him. He was funny.
And he was very particular about his clothes too. They had to be folded and always pressed and ironed. And
Everything.
I think it was Dynamite or Davy Boy had played a rib on him in the locker room. He had just for 25 minutes, ironed and gotten all of his stuff before they were leaving to the next city, and it was packed and folded just so. And he left the room from it. They cut the bottom out of the suitcase and put it back on, so he picked it up to go, and it was another 2 hours with the getting the clothes.
Oh yeah, he was.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, he's a great guy, but he just, we were in Japan together one time. We'd all be going. I think it was me, the Sheik, and Tony Atlas, and Hulk was on that trip along with Bill Eadie and Davey O'Hannon.
Yeah.
From it was up in New York, and then Hulk, Andre came in the second half of the tour, but Mike was on the whole tour, and he was same way. After a while, it's Mike. You can't shower at the building. You have to shower. You got to take it. We're not going to wait for you. We wanted to get out of you're in Tokyo. Or in Japan. You want to get out of there. You don't want to sit around the building till 11 o'clock at night waiting for a guy to finish the shower. The matches would start about 6 o'clock in the evening, and then so he'd wear a sweatsuit and he'd go back to the hotel and shower for 2-3 hours.
Wow.
After that. But Mike, hey, no way. You're not showering here because we're gone. And traditionally, he was first, second, third match.
Yeah.
As or he was, but it was hey, forget about it. You want to shower back to the hotel.
A severe blow to Vern and everyone over there, but a major coup for Vince. Do you remember when you first got the news that Hogan was coming?
It only happened a couple weeks before, just before him and the Sheik. He just Backlund dropped it, and then the next show he was with the Sheik.
Right.
So the boys, we weren't as a majority we weren't in on it.
Right.
Maybe the guys in the office, but we weren't.
So you didn't hear that this was going to be the start of something, or hopefully the start of something. It was just another guy.
I had a feeling it was, because then soon afterwards, all the Cyndi Lauper and David Wolf and all those other people. You kind of tell what was going on, and that's just the reception he had and the type of charisma he had. He was, he was money right away.
Did you feel he was a suitable person to put the company? I mean, in hindsight, of course, you'd say yes, but back then, did you think it was a suitable person to hang the company on?
Sure. Yeah. They'd come from 4 years of Bob Backlund, which not to say it was bad, because I have the highest respect for Bob, but it, it's just day and night. It was a change, with with Hogan, it was 12, 15 minutes of, fire and brimstone, and you're out of there. Making big money and, not really working for it. You're working for it, but there's just a standard, Hulk was Hulk, and he did his number of things that worked,
Mm-hmm.
and worked well.
Mm-hmm.
So, every time I heard Eye of the Tiger or whatever the song was, I said, oh boy, here we go,
Had you worked with Adrian prior?
We were good friends in Florida.
Okay.
He was a heel and I was a babyface, so that was kind of frowned on.
Right.
But he was a preliminary heel at the time. So the hell with it. And then somebody, Valentine, for the hell of it, booked us together in Tampa. I said, let's just go with it, because we've been hanging around together and same girlfriends and stuff,
Right.
So like I said, he wasn't I had no feud. He wasn't a Patterson or Ivan Koloff or somebody like that I had, that I had any angles going with.
Right.
So I couldn't see, at that time, the kayfabe and everything else was a big deal back then. But I could just see it as a malicious something by Valentine, just trying to, stir up a little shit.
Right.
It's timely.
Yeah.
It
Was
was
it-
time we just had the Lebanese thing, and the Ayatollah was at his peak, and everything was strong with. So it's just a natural.
Were there legitimate concerns for his safety? Do you remember?
Probably. I don't, which is ironic too, because he was in the exact opposite camp of the Ayatollah. He had been a bodyguard for the Shah of Iran.
I know.
And a member of his army, because all their Olympic athletes were colonels or generals or whatever in the army, and as a part of the Shah's regime. So he'd been a bodyguard to the Shah previously.
Right.
So as all praise Ayatollah and stuff, it's not they would have cut his balls off.
Not
They
only that.
went back to Iran.
When something big is, Backlund had the belt almost 6 years. When something this big is going to happen with a change like that, generally, how far beforehand do the other workers know that something's going to happen?
I don't know if I knew at all. I don't know if anybody knew at all. I'm not sure.
Do you remember being shocked by it? You were probably on the card.
Yeah, I was on the card there with somebody. I don't remember who. So I remember it happening when something like that was going, you knew there was a transformation coming, because, like I said previously, that the advertising people and the TV people and the magazine people and everybody else was laying groundwork for all their foundation to go in. So when you needed 6'6", 305-pound blonde guy, he was tremendously marketable.
Mm-hmm.
Interviews, this, that, musician, acting credentials, more or less.
Do you know at that point when Backlund drops it that Hogan's going to get it? Or is it just something you kind of put together by watching the last?
I guess you got to put it together after a while. He's coming in, it's going to, he sure didn't come in to do a job in the Garden the next week. Yeah, that's for sure. At that time, didn't seem that significant, because we'd already marched through Georgia and put salt in the ground. Everywhere was like Sherman's March to the Sea. We pretty much had control, or on the way to snowballing the whole country, and soon to be the whole North America, and following that the whole world.